Hello, welcome to my channel. I will be working on some wire weave techniques. Sit down, relax, get out your wire. I'm using 28 gauge Bead Smith gold plated, 20 gauge gold plated wire and 28 gauge weaving wire. To get started, we'll just grab ourselves about 10-12 inches of wire. Depends on what you're doing and what you want to make. I'm going to start with 2 pieces. I usually get them about the same size. Okay, we have 2 pieces. You want to smooth them out nice so they're both straight. You can use your fingers, or if you have a tool to do that, you can do that as well. I'm just going to grab about a foot or 2 of the weaving wire so we have plenty to work with. I use 28 gauge, but you can also use 26 gauge or 24 gauge, but the lower the number, the thicker the wire. And so, it depends on what you're looking to make. Okay, let's bring our camera in closer so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to weave just a basic coil to get started. So you want to wrap it around, and you always want to tighten up your weave or your wrap. So this is just a basic coil that you can use to make a bigger coil, as you can see with this right here. You can use the coil right here, and you can wrap that piece, that section of wire that you coiled, around an item to make it round like a tube. And you can use this in your designs. There's a lot of different ways you can use that. Okay, so now this is how you just do the basic coil. Now I'm going to add a wire. So now we have 2 wires. And I'm going to do a simple, it's sort of like a figure 8, but a little different. So you go around the top, then you go back down around the back, and you come up around the front to the front of the bottom wire, and then you bring that wire around the bottom and bring it around the top, loop it around the top, bring it around again and bring it around to the back, and bring it around the bottom wire. Then you're going to bring it around again. Always holding on to your wires firmly, but you don't want to bend them. Just holding firmly with your fingers, and I move my fingers up as I weave. Wrap it around the top. Use your finger to push it close. Always want to keep your wire tight, your weaves tight and close together. Then back up and around the bottom wire. And around again to the top. This is one of my most favorite weaves. It makes a very nice pattern. as you can see in this ring here. It makes a really pretty pattern for this ring. Makes a nice shine. I think it flashes very pretty. This isn't completed, but this is what the weave looks like. You can use this section to make this section of weaving to make anything you want. If you just do the whole thing, the whole section of wire, you could shape it into whatever you want, a ring, a pendant, use it to go around a stone, whatever you like. The next weave we're going to do is going to be, I call it, it doesn't have a name, but we're gonna do 1, 2, we're gonna wrap 5 coils on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going to do 1 around both, or 2. You can do 2. Makes a nice weave. So you can do 2. And then you're going to do 5 more around the bottom wire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to wrap 2 times. And you don't want to ever pull your wire too tight. You see this nice gap we have between the 2 wires in between? We want to keep that consistent. So if you pull too tight, you'll pull your wires too close together. But you want it to be a nice firm wrap. Okay, and then we're going to do 5 more around the bottom. I find wire weaving can be really beautiful if it's done neatly and carefully. So 3. We don't want a loose wire like that. You always want to bring it in and pull a little bit to make sure it's tight. I always tighten my wires. You can also come in with your pliers and you can tighten the top ones like that. You can also use it to smoosh them down instead of your nail. So this is our second weave. First we have the semi figure 8, then this one, which is what I call a 5x2. Now the next one is going to be where you wrap 2 at the top, and then you come around the bottom and wrap 2 at the bottom. Sort of like the figure 8, but you're doing 2 weaves, two coils instead of 1. Then we're going to bring it around the top and do the top 2 times. And then bring the wire around the back and weave it 2 times around the bottom. You start to see a pattern. There's really just no limit to the types of patterns you can do. Wrap that twice. And then come back around and wrap the bottom. 1 and 2. Grab my flat nose pliers and I'm going to squish that down so it's nice and tight. You can see it makes a really nice weave when it's nice and tight together. You start to see a pattern. So those are 3 patterns using 2 wires. My next video will be using 3 wires. Thank you for watching. Enjoy.